Elisha and Jezebel. He's like, hey girl, you're gonna be eaten by a pack of dogs. And then what happened to her? She's eaten by a pack of dogs. Hey, it's Rachel. Today on Crack Your Bible, I wanted to talk to you about what happened yesterday in New York City, where somebody ran over and murdered 8 people with a truck while screaming Allahu Akbar. So the reason that I want to talk about this is because I've already done a video months ago about hashtag pray for insert whatever Western city ever. And yeah, I can't believe that is actually evergreen content. It's always relevant, unfortunately. But a lot of people want to know, why does God let this stuff happen? What is going on? And you know what's going on? It's that Christians are asleep. We see time and time again in the Bible. People turn away from God. All of a sudden their enemies come and overtake them. And then they're like, God, why is this happening? How is this any different? How is this any different? People have turned their backs on God so many times, so why is his hand going to be on you to protect you from the people who want you dead when, in general, as a city, as a community, people are like, peace out to God. They don't care, so why would God protect them? We see the same thing today. But there's something that you can do, because it's not enough to just pray to God. Oh God, help us, help us. Okay, God has given you the tools already to be victorious over your enemy, not only in the spiritual realm, but in the physical realm as well. Now, in the Bible, you always had people involved in politics, because you're never going to separate the spiritual from who's ruling over your city. You can't do it. Like, they go hand in hand. And whenever you had some oppressive king that was bringing in false gods, what did you do? You took the king out. I mean, we see this with Samson and the Philistines. We see it with Elisha and Jezebel. He's like, hey girl, you're gonna be eaten by a pack of dogs. And then what happened to her? She's eaten by a pack of dogs. So, I mean, this stuff has always happened. One of the best stories is King Eglon. He's of the Moabites. So they're bringing in all of these false gods. Israel turns to the false gods. They don't care about actual God Yahweh anymore. And they're being oppressed by the Moabites. So Ehud, he's this guy. He makes an 18-inch sword, like the blade is 18 inches, and then you're going to have its hilt, like the handle. And he goes into the king. He's like, hey, I got a secret for you. So King Eglon sends everybody out of the room. And he's like, hey, I got a message from God for you. And stabs him, well, with his left hand, grabs his sword from his right leg and stabs King Eglon in the stomach, and he's so fat the entire sword is just enveloped by his fat. So then Ehud locks the door behind him, waltzes right out, and then the guards are like, oh, maybe the king is like using the bathroom or something. I don't know. It was like an embarrassing long time before they actually opened up the doors and saw that he was dead. And by that time it was too late. And Ehud tells Israel, like, hey, king's dead, so now's the time, blow the trumpet, whatever, we're going to war. So that's how people did it way back then. And obviously things are a little different. So what can Christians do, since they're not going to be waging war against all of these corrupt kings who are the minions of Satan, basically bringing in false gods and getting the Israelites to turn away from God? What can you do? Well, you can vote, because it's not just about the president. Oh, Trump, why is this happening? First of all, if you are going to have a minaret in your city like Dearborn, Michigan, where you have the calls to prayer and you have all of these terrorist schools in your neighborhood, you know who's approving this? It's your county commissioners, it's your city council. Those are the people who approve zoning, financing, allowing schools to be built, allowing calls to prayer to go out over loudspeakers. There has to be sound studies and all sorts of this stuff, and that is your local government. And local politics may be really cutthroat, but they don't have very many voters. And it's the month of November here in the United States, and that is where voting tends to happen. And in all of these like midterm elections or local elections, a lot of people don't turn up for them. But who's in charge of making sure that that school down the street doesn't get built, or that minaret that's doing the call to prayer 5 times a day on loudspeakers isn't blasting through your city? It's your local government. So you, as a Christian, have an obligation to know who you're voting for and actually turn out and vote. Not one of these, oh, I don't know who this judge is. Okay, well, who is the one approving all of this legislation from the bench? These judges that you didn't look into, the county commissioners, the city council members. You have an obligation to know who you're voting for and who you're not going to vote for, and then go in and vote. God put you in a city, in a country where you're actually allowed to vote, where you actually have the chance to speak up. Now, federal elections, I'm very jaded and I'm like, those things don't even matter. But on your local elections, you can actually change some stuff. So if you're a Christian and you want to know why are these things happening, it's because your local government is allowing it to happen. If you want less terrorism and less terrorists being grown in your communities, you need to look at who you're voting for. You can go on their Twitters. You can see who's running for office and just type in their name, and you can see who they've taken photos with, who they're friends with. Oh, this person likes to legislate from the bench, or oh, this person hasn't shown up to almost any of the sessions for state government. Okay, I'm not going to vote for them. They're a do-nothing person. This is what Christians are supposed to do. Yes, there's this spiritual realm that we're fighting against, but we also live in a physical world, and we can't just be like, oh God, help us, help us, help us. And God's like, okay, I've given you the tools. I've put you in a place where you can actually do something. Now get out of bed and go do it. God's not going to just like force you into going to the polls. God's not just going to magically send down a lightning bolt to strike out bad people and just magically put good people in. No, you have to vote for them. There is a process here in the United States, just like with any other place. There are protocols, there's rules, and if you don't show up, how are you going to get anything changed? God works through people. God works through the things that are put in place today. So I would urge all Christians, it is November. I don't know if your local, state, county, city is having an election, but if they are, look to see who you're voting for. Are they sympathetic towards Christians, or are they antagonizing Christians? How do they vote towards Christian issues? These things are in your hands. God has given you the ability to make change, to make your prayers come true. God has given you that gift. He's put you in the right place at the right time in history with the right rights. So go out and utilize them, because if you don't, we are going to have more and more and more of our enemies come in who are trying to murder us. If you don't like it, change it. So that's all that I wanted to talk to you today. I hope you will like, subscribe, and share, and I will talk to you later. Bye.